Did you know that 54% of consumers say that they want to see more video-based marketing content? Hello, action taker. Welcome to Live Blissed Out, a podcast where I have inspirational and informational conversations with business owners and subject matter experts that help you get the scoop on a variety of topics. Tired of hesitating or making decisions without having the big picture? Want to be in the know? Then this is the place to go. I'm your host, Marissa Houston, helping you achieve bliss through awareness and action. So let's get to it. In this episode, Beth Klepper shares the key considerations you need to create content for video marketing. In 2014, Beth founded Mainstream Video Production, working with more than 100 organizations and creating more than 1,500 videos. Mainstream continues to help businesses increase revenues, save hours, and tell their story through video. Mainstream specializes in full-service production, think storyboarding, shooting, and editing, and supports those who want to DIY their videos through Mainstream's online Video Marketing 101 course. She earned her master's degree in film and spent more than a decade producing live entertainment and television shows for AXS TV. She told a wide variety of stories, producing reality, travel, and celebrity gossip shows. She also produced live concerts for groups like the Zac Brown Band, Beth Leppard, the String Cheese Incident, and many more. She also continues to teach public speaking and interpersonal communication at Metro State University in Colorado. As Beth always says, every business has a story to tell. Video just makes it great. To learn more, visit mainstreamvideoproduction.com. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. This podcast should not be considered professional advice. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Me too, especially since we were just talking about how important video is in today's world. Please let our listeners know what we're going to be talking about today.
So we are going to be talking about, yes, why video is important, but I think a lot of people, they've already gotten that message that video is pretty important. I think a lot of people's questions are more about, how do I actually get this done? What tools do I have available to me? Can I use this free editing software that my 12-year-old nephew seems to be a master at? Can I just use my iPhone? What's it going to take? How do I make a video that doesn't feel cringy? How do I do it where it doesn't take a whole day? That's what we are all about. We love to get people to use the video medium like it's the telephone, like it's their emails. We're not as comfortable with video as we are with those typical communication mediums, right? We are more and more comfortable with it, especially with the pandemic in light of that. But as we all start to think about how we can make our message get to more people, video should be a big part of that. So that's what I'm hoping we talk about today.
Video is a must. We all know that. I think every business owner understands that. But at the same time, I think they shy away from it for a myriad of reasons. They may not understand the process. Sometimes they may think it's either too complicated, or maybe they think that it has to be perfect. And when they start to analyze the whole thing, they shy away from it. So I think that if we spend a moment helping them understand what to expect from the process and what they should be thinking about when they get started, that'll give them the courage and take the fear away of actually diving into video.
That's right.
What are some of the things that our listeners should be thinking about if they decide to actually take action? Because you have to have a basic understanding of things so that you know what direction you need to take for your business.
So great question. And I think that the thing I always try to drill into people's heads with this question of where do I start or how do I start thinking about it? The first one is video is useless without a channel or without a strategy. So creating a video first, or just thinking, oh, I have this great talking point, I want to get on video, I think it'll be great, very well could be. But you're putting the cart before the horse in that situation. What I always recommend is saying, okay, where is my intended audience going to see this video? Is it going to be on an email? Is it going to be on a sales page? Is it going to be on social media? Having a sense that those things come first and that video is just gasoline on those marketing strategy elements will help people get a lot of clarity especially when it comes to the creative decisions they're going to make for their video. So what is the strategy for my video? How am I going to create? What am I trying to amplify? Will help inform all your production decisions. And then from there, the next thing you've got to be really clear about, which is kind of a continuation of the first thing, is what specifically is this one video about? So knowing the life of the video, like where it's going to go, what channel it's going to live on, and then knowing the specific thing that you want to have the video do or you want to have the video communicate is the number one first step that anybody should take when it comes to creating videos. And the reason for that is because communication can be very complicated. And as business owners, we all have a million different messages we want to send, and we can't do it all at once. It's information overload and we confuse our audience. So starting there is actually really helpful for a lot of reasons. One is it makes you understand, okay, great, I'm going to get a good ROI on my video because I know where it's going. I know what it's intended to do. I know what my script's going to look like because my message is really clear and what I'm trying to accomplish is really clear. I'm a big proponent of the camera and the shooting. All of that is like 4 steps down. It's not the first thing you think about at all. So that's kind of where I would set the stage for most people, is to start thinking about, okay, what is the strategy for bringing customers to me or converting customers? And a lot of us are already doing this. And I say this a lot with the idea of low-hanging fruit. Most of us are sending out some sort of email campaigns. We're posting on LinkedIn or social media. We have a website. We have sales pages. We're having sales conversations. Videos are just extensions of that. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just packaging it up in a different form and making it more accessible and putting it in more places at once.
And it's a great point. So many people are fearful of the camera and worried about themselves so much that all they do is focus on, I just got to get videos out. And I see a lot of them that just make no sense. They grab the camera and they just say stuff. And it's like, oh, I got a video out. Look, I'm brave. And that's great. I think it's wonderful because you got to start somewhere. And if you're so afraid of the camera and you're not doing anything, well, then it's not going to serve you any purpose. But I love what you said. The scripting and the storyboarding that needs to take place, which is the planning part, is so critical so that there's consistency, so that there's a strategy behind the message, and also so that the people that are watching know what kind of action you want them to take and what kind of problems you're solving.
That's exactly it. And it actually is an incredibly powerful time-saving organizational tool to get those questions answered first. You know, I teach a public speaking class. I've taught that at Metro here in Denver for about, going on 13 years. And we always talk about topic selection, and then we call it a thesis. Most of us are familiar with that. When you write a paper or you give a speech, you have a topic, you have a thesis, you know what you're going to write about. You don't just go getting the supporting material or making your main points before you know exactly what you're writing about. It just doesn't make any sense. Without knowing what is the message, what am I trying to communicate, it's a waste of time and energy, and you're never going to get the best product. So always starting there and saying, okay, what's the life of the video? Where is this going to go? That's going to then inform what's going to be included in your script and storyboard. So you're not putting too much information in or not making sense or not having a good script. If you know specifically people are coming to this sales page and I want them to give me their email, that's going to be a much easier script to write than I want to make a video about how great my business is. Well, I'm sure you do, and we will, but which part of your business and what do you want from your audience? Always, always, always thinking about your audience. Your audience can't take in everything you have to say all at once. They just can't. They're going to find the bits and pieces they need, and you need to be able to provide it to them. And we've all thought these things out. Most people in business have a website. They have an about page specifically designed for their history and that sort of thing. So that's a perfect place for your video to go about your history and your credentials. Most of us have a services page. That's a great place to put information about what exactly you sell, the cost of what you sell, the details, the benefits, the features. Those are 2 separate messages. Who you are, why you're credible to do what you're doing on your about page, and then here's exactly what it costs and what we give you is a different message. And making sure you're clear about what that message is and making sure it's clear to your audience when they're interacting with you and when they're going through their buyer's journey. That's priority 1. And then from there, it becomes really easy to make a script and say, okay, here's what I want to include. And then you can start thinking about style. And that's when it gets fun. And you can say the video medium is something completely different than writing. Now we get to figure out how we're going to show and tell.
As you were saying all that, I was thinking of what Covey says, begin with the end in mind.
Yes. Oh, big fan of Covey. I have that right in my course. Yes.
Yes. It really forces you to understand what is the ultimate goal. I find that people just put things out there for the sake of putting things out there. And then they miss out on the opportunity. So if somebody's watching your video, do you want them to visit your website? Do you want them to click on a link? Do you want them to enter an email? All those actions are what are going to take them to the next step, particularly if you are very on point and focusing on one thing, because if you focus on one thing, you're solving a problem. And if you solve a problem that somebody really needs, then they're likely going to do something about it.
Absolutely. Pat Flynn, he was a keynote at a conference I was at, and he talked about getting your audience a quick win. And that's the thing. If you're asking your audience to sit through a 10-minute video or information overloading them about here's our company and here's our case studies, that's not going to get them a quick win. If they understand, here's how we solve your pain points, give us an email, we'll send you this information or set up a free consult. That's a quick win. Somebody that is coming, at least especially in my industry or in my type of business, which is a service industry, people want to come to my website and they want to get something done. They want to have scheduled a consultation by the end of going to my website. Giving them the tools they need to make that decision, that's what video is. What I say about it all the time is it's a free salesperson working for you. It's not free. You have to put time and money into producing it, of course, but then it's a little clone of you and anybody on your team having conversations with people on the internet while you're doing something totally different. And that's the power of it, is its ability to transcend space and time and talk with people and let them know about your products and services and what you're doing without actually having to be there. And they're more willing to watch it. It's a passive experience. They don't have to feel like they're talking to a salesperson or being vulnerable in that way. They can get the information without having to commit just yet. So giving them videos, giving them the right length of videos, giving them a clear message that is about them and where they are is how you want to approach it at first, for sure.
Are you searching for a trusted merchant service provider for your business? SG Associates LLC is your partner for quality payment and merchant service solutions. With over 15 years of experience in credit card processing, SG Associates offers merchants the best pricing, products, and customer service available from a payment and solution service provider. Their number one goal is to save their merchants as much as possible on their credit card processing fees. To learn how they can help you, call 1-800-455-5211 or visit sg-associatesllc.com. Absolutely. And the other benefit that I think is wonderful is the fact that you can present yourself in a consistent way. It's recorded, so everybody's hearing the same message, and you don't have to repeat yourself like a broken record.
The first thing I say is, what are you repeating all the time? What do you feel like is Groundhog Day that you're saying again and again? Because the easiest way to get video ROI, return on investment, is time. It's a clone of you. It's an extension of you. So if you're having to have the same sales conversation over and over again, and it can be done over email with a video, that's a great place to start. We had a mortgage broker just hire us. He's super, super busy. As you know, the mortgage industry is crazy. And he has a 10-minute spiel that he does for refinances, for VA loans. And he just wanted a video that did that spiel because he was so tired of saying it again and again. And he was fine with, even if I'm on the phone with somebody and I can just say, I'm going to send it to you, watch this video, I'm going to do something else for 10 minutes because I can't keep having the same conversation. That's the power of video.
And not only that, I was thinking about the fact that with COVID happening and we're now used to working remotely from home, and we are now extending our reach outside of this 5-mile radius that we're used to. Video allows you to reach anyone, anywhere. It's incredible, especially for businesses that are not regional, like businesses that may offer a product that they can sell to any part of the country or even outside of the country. How powerful is video? It's the only way for you to get that message across to everybody simultaneously and not have to be living in Groundhog Day, because it's frustrating for a lot of businesses to do that.
And so inefficient. The statistics on Amazon products with a video, they're just a no-brainer, especially on certain kind of products. Everybody likes to have some sort of support in that way. There's a million different ways you can approach video. Yes, you can make, a training video for how to use your thermometer that you sell on Amazon or whatever it is. And that's helpful for your customers. And that's not necessarily a sales video. It's not talking about how great your business is. but it is part of your sales, right? Because you're continuing to give great customer service. You're continuing to communicate, which is all part of people loving your brand, loving your company, and continuing to buy from you and continuing to refer from you. So using video as a communication extension, I mean, to me, it just seems like such a no-brainer. I know that there's a little trepidation though.
People have a perception of video as it has to be me. I have to be the one to do it. I have to show my face. I need to be the focus of it. We, in general, need to start thinking outside the box and saying, listen, it really isn't about you. And you don't have to be the focus. It could be about your product and service. And there are so many ways to create video. You need to decide. So it's going back to what you were talking about with scripting and storyboarding. How do you want to present yourself so that you can decide what's not only comfortable for you, but what's going to be effective for your business? Because a video that doesn't get made is not going to help. You got to make it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And that's why I'm always a big fan of even the cringeworthy videos that we see, because at least they're making up. Sometimes those can work in the opposite direction. But typically, if you're on someone's mind, that's a good thing, especially if you're trying to sell or keep people aware of who you are. And I think that you make a really good point. I think when it comes to the creative aspect of it, we all know the statistics, and I totally agree with you. Most people are bought in already. When I first started my business, I tell this story. I just left this TV network. I had a safe job in the field I wanted to be in to go start a business for myself. And it was very scary. And I started going to networking events and meeting people. And I thought, this is a no-brainer. Everybody loves video. It's going to be like shooting fish in a barrel. This business will be so easy to build.
They're just going to come in droves.
Yeah. People can't wait to write checks for this. Like, this is going to be so easy. Why didn't I do this sooner? And the reason for that is because people intuitively know absolutely video is the way to go. They love watching videos. They want to make videos, but getting into production is a different thing altogether. And it's because of all the things we talked about. Yes, the fear of being on camera, but also the fear of not really being familiar with how to purchase this. And I think that that's part of the industry. I mean, when I started in video in 2006, cameras were $80,000. I worked at a network that was called HD Net because it was shot in HD and broadcast in HD. And in 2006, that was cutting edge. And now we all have HD on our phones currently, so the technology and the accessibility to it has come leaps and bounds. I know it's been a few years since I started, but all of us have so much access to the technology. That doesn't necessarily mean we have access to the understanding of what makes it so great and why it's a powerful medium.
It's so true, Beth, because even though our phones now have more technology than Apollo 13, right? Supposedly. Yeah. It's so many times we look at our phone and I'm like, what's that button? And I didn't know you could do that. Like every day you're learning something new that your phone can do because we tend to gravitate towards the things that we're comfortable with. Oh, I'm just going to check my email. Maybe there's my favorite app that I go to. There's so many things in there that we don't even understand what they are or how to use them. And so that can be super intimidating. There is a system that needs to happen, and there's certain types of planning that needs to take place in this process. You need to schedule, you need to budget, you need to have an understanding of how this is all going to work. And then you as an individual business owner need to decide, well, how much of it am I going to do? Perhaps you're interested in learning the basics because you just want a good foundation. Great, check, you can do that. But then when you get into it, you might say, listen, I love this whole process and I want to make this a full-time thing because I've got staff in my company and they can do all the other stuff and I'm going to focus on video because this is fun. This is playtime for me. Great, good for you. But you may find the opposite where you're going, I thought this was going to be fun and I hate it. I hate everything about it. And now I need help. I need to call Beth because I need Beth to just take this away from me. I think that's part of the process too, is that people aren't really understanding what components are involved and how they're going to play a part in that.
Totally. The first thing I always say kind of to this particular subject is anybody that's watched a TV or movie at the end of it sees, we probably all walk out before the credits, but there's a long list of people that are involved in making those films and making those TV shows. And obviously in our marketing videos, we're not making a 2-hour feature film, but I think it's important to know that Jordan Peele, who produced and I believe directed and wrote Get Out. Do you remember Get Out, that movie?
No, I've never seen it, never heard of it.
And now you'll hear about it all the time. It was pretty popular. Jordan Peele, he said that what makes the movie medium so amazing is it's bringing all of these different people together. So you're bringing together a shooter and a scriptwriter and an editor. All of you are working in tandem on this thing that then becomes its own thing. And that's obviously, we're talking about a feature film in that scenario. When we talk about making videos for our business, though, I think it's important to remember that there is a difference between a strategist who's thinking about how are we getting an ROI on this video? Where is it going to go? How are we going to use this video? And a script writer that's going to then take that strategy and turn it into something that sounds good and uses words and copy in the right way. And then the script writer in video, at least, also is what we refer to in our company as storyboarding. And storyboarding is putting your video on paper. And they use it absolutely in the movies, in TV, in commercials. Really simply put, one column is for what is being said, what is the message. And then one column, we call that the A roll. And then the B roll is what we're actually showing. And when you have a scriptwriter or a storyboard person writing this, they're getting really creative with what can happen. They know where the video is going to go. They know the message that it's going to send. Those things are narrowed. And now they can start thinking, how can we do this? Are we going to use animation? Are we going to just film you on camera, the owner of the business or the spokesperson for the business? Are we going to film several of the employees? Are we going to have it be straight to camera, or is it going to be more of a documentary feel? Are we just going to have a voiceover artist with some really cool visuals? You design all that and get really creative with that. And I always say that it's really important to watch the video in your head. The ideas are free in your head. Start thinking about all the different ways you can tell the story visually and then map it out. Mapping out the video is a different skill set than actually shooting the video. The person that's shooting is thinking about composition and lighting and what we want in the foreground and what kind of movement we want with the camera. Those are different areas of expertise. Audio, that's another area of expertise. If you're the person on camera and you're worrying about the composition and the lighting and the audio, it's hard to just be your best on camera personality. It's totally possible. If you watch TikTok or see some of these vloggers, it's amazing how many people can shoot, produce, and edit. Most of us aren't like that. Even me, I've been in the business for 15 years. I can script. I love to script and storyboard. That's where I'm going to be. I don't ever want to mess with audio, framing, or lighting. I can. It is such a waste of time for me, though, personally. I'm not good at it. It's not my skill set. It's not how I think. My best area is in the strategy. Where are these videos going to go? How are they going to be used? And then the editing, again, is another part to the process. You're taking the visuals, you're taking what was the raw ingredients you have to work with, and you're figuring out how to use the editing software and what that editing software is capable of and putting it all together to tell and show this story that moves, that's interesting, that has other elements in it. That's what makes videos so powerful, is bringing together all these different things. Yes, there's definitely a time and place where it's, hey, I'm going to give you a quick piece of information and it's just a talking head and you're just on video. And that has a ton of power too, just because of what we know about nonverbal communication. And at least 70% of communication is nonverbal. So putting yourself on camera with no other editing than, maybe the ins and outs is great too. But when you start to do more videos and you want to have video be a big part of your strategy and you want to have it transcend space and time, you start having to think about all of those different people that are involved in it. And not necessarily people, but all those different roles, right? So you can be the same person, but there's also lots of opportunities for you not to be the same person. And figuring that out and understanding that whole process is really important to actually getting it done. Because once you realize you're not an editor, great. Let's hire an editor. That's kind of what we want our clients to get to. And that's how we sell our services and products, because we want people to understand so that they understand what they want to do and what they don't want to do.
If I decided I wanted to build a house and I've never built one before, I seriously can get wood and nails and a hammer and build something, right? But all the elements that go into it now have to be planned. Like, how's this house going to look and where's it going to go?
Is it structurally sound?
And if you decide you want to take that all on with no help of any kind, then I highly recommend you start small. Like one of those little shacks that you can put in the back of your house, because then if it goes bad, you can tear it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think video is the same way. You get comfortable and start to figure out for yourself where you want to take it, and then you build on it. Eventually, as your business grows, you may find yourself in a situation where, gosh, I put all these little videos out. Now I want to play bigger. And I really need more support. And then that's where professionals like you can also come in and really elevate the process, right? And really help them get to where they want to go faster and better. At the end of the day, Beth, we got to start making video. And I don't think enough people are doing that yet. It's one of those someday things they're going to do. And I'm hoping people will start to realize it's non-negotiable for business anymore.
I've been in business now for 7 years. It's trending in that direction. I don't know when it will be, but at some point there will be a tipping point where video is like website. You can't not have it. And there are still a handful of people, I've met them, that don't have websites. One of the things I think is important to add is that people that want to go big, They want to grow their brand. They want to grow their business. They want their message to impact more people. They want to help more people. If that's really what you're truly trying to do, you shouldn't do it without video.
I think it's going to be a much tougher climb because I always tell people, if you're not doing it, someone else is.
That's right. That's right.
So it's simple. Somebody could be working just as hard as you or even less than you, and you're not making it because they're going out, putting it on video, and it's really getting the message out to a broader audience, and it's much more effective. The question is, where do you want to fall with that? You have to have basic foundation, obviously, which I know you have a course that teaches people those basic elements that they need to understand to set the stage, so to speak. And then from there, they'll have a really solid foundation to say, all right, where do I take it from here? Because there's lots of different forks I can take. Which one is going to be a good fit for me now, but at least get it going.
We practice what we preach. We're very big on that. So we actually have a free blog, and every week we put out a video about videos. That's a great place for people to start. It's going to come naturally to you. You know, some people are going to be scriptwriters and they know that. Some people are going to be editors and they know it. So start there, learning about editing hacks. That's a good place to start searching if you were going to go the blog route. But yes, our Video Marketing 101 course is really teaching kind of all the stuff I just outlined because we want people to empower themselves, you know, have a master's degree on the subject. And I always hire an editor. I've shot a couple of things, maybe once or twice, put something out that wasn't edited by a professional. And that is because I just don't like it. I know the value of an editor. And we all have to find that for ourselves as we start to move towards this. Also, as kind of an ethical thing in my industry, a lot of us don't know how to purchase video or what things cost. Starting a business, I saw, wow, there is a range. Some people are charging $10,000 for a 30-second video. And then you've got freelancers charging a couple $100 an hour, or they'll say they'll do the whole hour-long video for $700. Well, that's fine, but what are you getting for that? Why do I spend the $10,000? Most of us understand the difference between a really nice car or a really nice house, but a lot of us don't understand the difference between what it's going to take to get a great video and how I actually budget that. And we want to give people as much information as they can to be really excited and empowered to do videos because it's not easy. It's not easy to be on camera. It's not easy to get these things edited and watch yourself on camera or get people together or ask a customer to be a testimonial for you. So we want to make sure that everybody that works with us or is doing videos has as much information as they need and can feel really excited and empowered about what they're creating, because that's what you have to create something great.
And they need to start with a conversation. So how do they reach you so that they can have a dialogue with you and learn more about the specific services you offer?
You can go to our blog. It's mainstreamvideoproduction.com/blog and search in any topics there. We're also on YouTube. If you like YouTube searching easier, both the videos are on both places. If you go to the website, you can just set up a free consultation and I'll talk through whatever makes sense, kind of go through if Video Marketing 101 is more of a fit, or if you want to get a quote for just doing some editing services, whatever that looks like. A consultation is a great place to start. You can schedule that on the website, get something done, go there, put it on the Calendly so it's on both of our calendars, or you can always email me at Beth Klepper, KLEPP as in Paul, ER at mainstreamvideoproduction.com.
I am so appreciative that you were here today to share this with us, Beth.
I love talking to you anytime, Marissa. I absolutely feel like I'm in the best mood after talking to you. So anytime.
Back at you. Thanks, Beth.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of Live Blissed Out. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Beth Klepper for joining us on the show. If you have a question or comment for a future episode, all you have to do is go to speakpipe.com/LBOVM or click the link in the show notes to leave a brief audio message. If you find value in our show, please visit liveblessedout.com to reach out, subscribe, and share on social media. This show is made possible through listeners like you. Thank you. So long for now, and remember to keep moving forward.